basically with these MIDI instruments, the way this works is you're going to see a piano down here in the corner. So click piano, and then that'll pop up the instrument. So it doesn't matter what you actually play, because piano will get you to all the instruments. So we have piano, guitar, and violin. So to start with the piano or any of the instruments, you can start off by just clicking the notes, and that will activate the note. It will play it for you. It will also play and show in real time for the students. So a student is seeing exactly what the teacher is seeing. They're hearing exactly what the teacher is hearing. It's all transmitted automatically. So a couple of the features that we've got in the MIDI keyboards are, we'll just start here with the active button. This is, if you click this, your typing is enabled, meaning that like you can type using A, S, D, F, G, that row of letters. You can play, and so if you don't have a MIDI keyboard or you don't want to keep clicking on the screen, you can always just type and play. The other option, of course, as you see over here, is a full-size piano. This is running through just a USB cable to the computer. No software is needed. You just plug it in. The volume on the piano is currently off, but you should see and hear everything through the screen. So, yeah. So as I play the piano, so I don't really play the piano, so. So as you see, basically, as you play your piano, the notes transmit in real time right to the screen. And as I said before, your students are seeing and hearing that as well. There's a couple of different ways you can display the notes for your students. Notes below is what we were just doing. So when a note's played, you're going to see below the note, you're going to see that, and it will fade away. You have notes, which will just display all notes at all times, and you can toggle between sharps and flats. You can also do key numbers. So if you just want to see the number, that's fine too. And then we have sticky notes. Sticky notes is great if you want to show a chord or outline something. The notes will stay on the screen until you clear them. To clear sticky notes, you can click them again, or you can just click this eraser to clear. So that's for the piano. Those are, and of course, no notes. It just doesn't show anything. It just highlights the key. So that's, sort of the easiest way to pull the piano up, start playing. Now, you don't have to have a full-size piano. Over here, I've just got one of these smaller, USB little 30-key pianos. You can choose, different controllers from the list here, so you should be able to plug in multiple different things and use whatever works best for you. In the settings, you can actually go in here and you can change the layout of the piano. So if you wanted to make it smaller, you could change the octave range that you're looking at. You also have all the same settings that you have displayed on the toolbar. But yeah, so for the piano, that's sort of the overview on what the piano looks like and how that interacts. Now, another really neat feature we have is our toggle transcription. So this is live transcriptions for whatever it is you're playing. Now, currently, this only supports quarter notes, but the idea for this is less about transcribing what you're jamming out on a solo. It's not really built for transcribing that sort of thing. The idea is to build exercises and material that your students might need to work on in the lesson. So something simple like, or, so as you can see, it's instantly transmitting or transcribing what I'm playing into sheet music. It does chords as well. So as you see, it will split the octave where needed. It can do quite, you could you can do as many chords, notes at a time as you'd like, and as you see, it will just keep adding lines of music for you to keep working. So this is a fantastic way for you to quickly show your students something, not only visually on the keyboard, but notated out in sheet music. And with everything on Muzie, there's obviously not much use if you can't save this, share it, write on it, and all that fun stuff. So, of course, you can do that. You can undo notes one note at a line or one line at a time. That will allow you to clear things and restart if you needed to. You can upload. This will allow you to save it as a file, and I'll show you in a second. Another cool feature is opening these directly into your whiteboard. And then, of course, trash. We'll just clear the display, so there's nothing there. Now, the neat thing with upload is if you choose open or upload directly as a whiteboard, you can change the name to Music is Awesome. Save that. And it's going to take a second, and it's going to take that transcription, and it's going to convert it into a whiteboard file. So we're going to have all of our pencils and markers and tools to be able to notate on top of what we just did. So you could be working with your student on whatever exercises it might be, but then you could add extra instructions onto the transcription itself so that your students can have that and take it home. So as you see, Music is Awesome, a copy of our transcription, and then you can go through, you could circle notes, you could highlight things, you could add extra details, teach, do what we do. And of course, like any other whiteboard file, save it, delete it, erase it. Now it's just a normal whiteboard file at that point. But that's a fantastic way to sort of quickly transcribe what it is you might want your students to work on. Now, that feature does work with all the other instruments as well. And so let's kind of jump through these. Now, guitar, I think I've not really seen anyone else do this the way we're doing this. I don't know if we're the only, but this is definitely unique to what we're doing. As you see, there's a guitar over there in the corner. I'm going to grab that and show you something really cool. So this one does require a little extra hardware. And unfortunately, currently, it's not exactly cheap. What I have here is a guitar, just a regular guitar. But this is a Fishman triple play pickup. Now, as far as I'm aware, Fishman triple play is the best MIDI pickup you can buy for a guitar. I know they make two versions of it. One is wired. That one's quite a lot cheaper. This is the wireless version. I've had this for quite a long time. You can use them live. They're really great. Not endorsed or anything by the company, just a cool product. I think other companies probably do make these. But you would need a MIDI pickup of some kind to do what I'm about to show you. So one of the neat things with MIDI is that as long as you have a way of displaying it, you can use really whatever you want. So I've switched over to my guitar control here, and here I'll pop open my transcription again. And now the cool thing is anything I play on this guitar should transcribe to the screen in real time. So let's see. Oops, a little add-on note there at the end. So now the way this works, we can add fading notes so we can see what it is we actually played. Now, of course, that's a piano sounding guitar. We've got a whole bunch of different sounds in here. So now all of this has been transcribing, as you see on screen. And you could upload it like we said, or if you don't need it anymore, you can just remove it. The cool thing about these is that now when you're teaching guitar lesson and a student says, what are the notes in a D chord? There you go. And they can see it on an instrument as it looks. And, you can sit there and strum it a couple times for your students to hear it. They can see it. There's a great, really allows a lot of flexibility. Now, your students, if they have a MIDI pickup or a MIDI piano or a MIDI instrument of their kind, they can all do the exact same stuff we're doing here. So this isn't one way, this is two way. So if a student plays on the piano on their end and it's connected to their computer, the notes will also show up, and transcribe as well. The notes from the students will actually show up in purple, and your notes will show up in yellow, just so you know who's doing what. But as you can see, I'm kind of a big fan of the guitar one because I'm a guitar teacher. But when I do teach a little bit of piano, so having the piano there is very, very helpful as well. So they're pretty useful. Great way of demonstrating to your students what it is you're doing. And as you see, there's a whole bunch of different ways you could implement this into a lesson. Now, finally, unfortunately, I don't play the violin or the fiddle, nor do I even own one, which I'd love to sometime when I have free time. But we also have the option for violin. So very similar to the guitar setup here. But you can go in here. Oh, and we've got, like I said, we've got sound effects. So you got laser gun, because you might need that during a lesson. Marimba, saxophone, synthesizers, violin. So now I'm just triggering that by just clicking on the notes. But as I mentioned before, it doesn't matter. Midi is Midi. So I could use the guitar to trigger the violin. I can do the piano to trigger the Midi. I can type. Oh, sorry, didn't know that would be so so loud. You can also, one thing to mention with the typing is X and Z on your keyboard, the letter X, the letter Z. That will actually shift the octaves. On the violin and guitar, there's sort of a visual representation on it. For the piano, you'll notice that there's these ones are highlighted in yellow. If you shift X or Z, you'll notice that the octave is going up. That's so when you're typing and playing, you can go up the octaves if you don't have a MIDI instrument of your own. So I just really wanted to do a demo on the MIDI instruments, how they work, what they're for. Now, as I've shown you all of this inside of a lesson, like with everything we do, this is also available outside of class. So you could sit down, you could work on writing up a little score for your lessons, or your students could even plug in their piano and practice and play with the sound effects, have visualizations for note names, things like that. So this is accessible outside of class. I'll just show you really quickly where that is. For everybody, it's down here in the bottom corner keyboard. You just click that, and you've got same exact set of tools, just not in a lesson. Same thing. You can do your notation. You can play. Exact same features, but you can even upload to the whiteboard as well from here. So literally the exact same tool, but outside of class. So if anyone has any questions, I'm going to jump back to this Melon streaming thing that we're using and see if they're... yes, so the question from earlier, is it available in practice room? Yeah, I think I sort of answered that as I went. Yeah, available right here in the practice room. It's not available in the assignment room yet, but that is something we probably will add. We just need to sort of, let it live a little bit, let people try it out, and, give us more feedback on it, see what other features we might want to add, and then probably a way of interacting with it inside an assignment as well. Things like recording what you're playing and playback are features that we are looking into for the future. So that's all on the list as well. But as it stands right now, you've got piano, violin, and guitar. You've got 4 or 5 different note display options, 5 or 6 different sound effects, so you can have a little fun with that. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is there is a padlock. So your students, who we all know inevitably somebody is going to grab a piano and hit every note. You can lock the piano, so only the teacher can be using it. Yeah, kind of like the whiteboard. But let me just see if anyone's any questions or anything before we sign off. This video will be saved to the YouTube channel. I'll post it in the Facebook groups as well. So if you want to rewatch it or anything, share it. Yeah, that's where you'll be able to find it. So awesome, thanks. I hope everyone's having a good first of the year, third of the year, I suppose. But let's get at it strong this year, and then we'll have tons of new updates. There's going to be a couple new little things coming as well. Just a quick sort of studio announcements almost is we're going to have a calendar coming out to allow everyone to know when these events are going to be happening way ahead of time. We're going to be doing more office hours, more interactions, more business summits, webinars. It's going to be a fun year. So let's go for a ride. All right. So I'll see everyone soon. If you need me, you know where to find me in the Facebook group or on the chat support. Hope you have a great day. See ya.